Hi guys, good day. It's me, Teacher MJ. Our topic for today class, it's all about graphing quadratic function using table of values. So without further ado, let's do this topic. So in our example for today class, the x values are not given as well as the y values. Once again, there are some cases class that the teacher will already provide the x values. So if the x values are given, it would be really easy for you to find the y values. Just simply substitute the x values from this function and you can find the y values. So we will explain that later on class, how to find the y values. So once again, in our scenario today, the x values are not given as well as the y values. So the thing that we will do class is we need to find the x values. How to find the x values? You need to find the axis of symmetry, the h, the value of h. Once again class, always remember that the axis of symmetry divides the parabola into two equal parts. So we need to find the center or the axis of symmetry. Alright, so this function f of x, we can write this one as y equals x squared plus 2x minus 3. Once again class, this is just the same. F of x, you can write it as y. So f of x is equals to y. And then you find the x values class, the center part, this one, the axis of symmetry. So to find that, once again, axis of symmetry. So to find the axis of symmetry, so once again, axis of symmetry, x is equals to h. So you need to find the value of h. And the formula to find the value of h, that would be h is equals to negative b over 2a. So that's the formula, negative b over 2a. So in this function, y equals x squared plus 2x minus 3. In quadratic function class, do you still remember f of x or y? So let's just put y. Y is equals to ax squared plus bx plus c. This is the general form or the standard form of quadratic function. So the value of a in our equation, x squared plus 2x minus 3. So the value of a class, what would be the value of a in this equation? So a is beside x squared, so understood that a here, if you didn't see any number beside x squared, so understood that there's 1 here. So our a is 1, our b is beside x, that would be 2, and our c is negative 3. So simply substitute this value, a and b, from this h for you to find the center. So h equals, copy negative sign, so copy negative sign for the formula. So negative, then b is 2. So you have negative for the formula, and the value of b is 2, divided by 2. Then if you have 2a, it means 2 times a. It means multiplication class. Once again, if you have a variable close to a number, it means multiplication. So this is the same with 2 times a. So our a is 1, so 2 times 1. And this will be negative 2 divided by 2 times 1, that is 2. So negative 2 divided by 2, what's the answer class? Negative 2 divided by 2. That's correct, that's negative 1. Once again, negative divided by positive, unlike signs, the answer is always negative. Then 2 divided by 2 is 1. So the answer is negative 1. So h equals negative 1. So therefore, the center for x, that would be negative 1. In the middle part of this 5 columns, so the center is negative 1 for x. So once again, the axis of symmetry, it says x is equals to h. So our x is equals to, our h is negative 1. Alright, so you need to find the center. Now, once you get the center class, just follow the number line class. Do you still remember the number line? So let me erase this one. I hope you understand this one class. You pause the video, I will be erasing this one. Once again, we need to get the center. If the x values and the y values are not given, you need to get the center of the x values class. Always remember that one. If you don't have the x values, you need to get the center. And once you get the center, you locate the numbers on the right and on the left side class using the number line. Alright, so you pause the video, I will be erasing this part class. Once again, to get the value of the center, the formula is h equals negative b over 2a. Alright, so do you still remember class, the number line? So the number line, of course, you have 0, Then on the right side, that would be all positive numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4. And all will be positive on the right, 5, 6, 7, and so on. And on the left side, after 0, that would be negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, and so on. So if this is negative 1, next number will be negative 2 on the left, then negative 3. And this one, negative 1 on the right, negative 1 after negative 1, that would be 0, then positive 1. Alright, so that's the value of your x values. Now, once you get the x values, you can now proceed to find the y values, class. So let's find the y values. Once again, if this is negative 3 for x, you just simply substitute this x value from this equation, class, to find the y. So let me copy the equation. Y equals x squared plus 2x minus 3. So once again, your x is negative 3. So your x, class, is negative 3. Simply substitute this negative 3 from this x. So this will be y equals, so your x is negative 3. So just change this x, class, into negative 3. So this will be negative 3, then squared, plus 2, then x is negative 3, minus 3. So this will be y equals negative 3 squared, class. What do you mean by that? So once again, negative 3 squared, it doesn't mean negative 3 times 2. It means that you multiply this negative 3 by itself twice. This is negative 3 times negative 3. So negative 3 times negative 3, that would be positive 9. Negative times negative is positive. 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, so negative 3 squared, it means negative 3 times negative 3. So this will be positive 9. Then positive 2 times negative 3. Positive times negative is negative. 2 times 3 is 6. Once again, class, if you are multiplying unlike signs, the answer is always negative. So positive times negative is negative. 2 times 3 is 6. Then minus 3. So this will be 9 minus 6 is 3. Minus 3, that would be 0. So y is equals to 0. So if x is negative 3, y is equals to 0. Once again, class, 9 minus 6 is 3. Minus 3, that is 0. So if x is negative 3, our y value is 0. That's how you find the y value, class. Easy, right? So to find the y values, just simply substitute the value of x to get the y values. So let's find the value of y if our x is negative 2. So copy the equation, y equals x squared plus 2x minus 3. So this will be y equals, our x is negative 2. To find the y value, so negative 2 then squared plus 2 times negative 2 minus 3. So this will be y equals negative 2 squared, class. What do you mean by that? That's correct. That it means negative 2 times negative 2. Once again, negative 2 squared, it doesn't mean negative 2 times 2. It means negative 2 multiplied by itself. Negative 2 times negative 2. Negative 2 times negative 2, that would be positive 4. So this will be positive 4. Then 2 times negative 2. Positive times negative is negative. 2 times 2 is 4. So positive times negative, that would be negative. 2 times 2 is 4. Then copy negative 3. So this will be 4 minus 4 is 0. Minus 3, that's negative 3. Or you can cancel this out, class. Because 4 minus 4 is 0. You can simply cancel this out. And the remaining will be negative 3. So if your x is negative 2, your y is negative 3. So if your x is negative 2, your y is negative 3. So that's how you find the y values, class. Simply substitute the x value from the equation to find the y values. Alright, so let's find the value of y if x is negative 1. So if x is negative 1, so y equals, x is negative 1. Simply substitute this negative 1, class, from the x values. So negative 1 squared plus 2 times negative 1 minus 3. So once again, this x, just simply change this one into negative 1, class. So our x, we change it to negative 1 to find the y value. So this will be y equals negative 1 squared, class. It means negative 1 times negative 1. So negative 1 times negative 1. Once again, negative 1 squared, it means negative 1 times negative 1. So negative 1 times negative 1, that would be positive 1. Negative times negative is positive. Then 2 times negative 1, positive 2 times negative 1. Positive times negative, that would be negative. 2 times 1 is 2. Then minus 3. Alright, so you have two solutions, class. It depends on you. Which do you prefer? If I will be the one who will answer this one, I will copy y, then copy 1. Then I will combine this one, class. If you both have negatives, always remember this one. If you both have negatives close to each other, simply copy the sign. Then you add the numbers. 2 plus 3, that is 5. Once again, if you have negative 3 minus 5, so negative 3 minus 5, if you both have negatives, simply copy negative sign, then you add the number 3 plus 5, that is 8. So negative 8. So it depends on you, class, but for me, it would be really easy. If you have both negatives, simply copy negative sign, then you add the number 2 plus 3, that is 5. So negative 5. And then y is equals to 1 minus negative 5, so positive 1, negative 5. If the signs are not the same, you subtract. 5 minus 1 is 4. Then you simply copy the sign of the larger number. Since 5 is greater than 1, we copy negative sign. So 1 minus 5, that's negative 4. So our y is negative 4. So that's the first solution, class. Or the second solution in this part, you can write this one as y equals 1 minus 2 minus 3. So this is y equals 1 minus 2. So positive 1, then minus 2. So 1 minus 2, if the signs are not the same, we have negative 2, positive 1. Simply subtract. 2 minus 1 is 1. Then 2 is greater than 1, so we copy the negative sign. So 1 minus 2, that's negative 1. So negative 1, then minus 3. So once again, 1 minus 2, that's negative 1. Then minus 3. So once again, if you both have negatives, negative 1 and negative 3, simply copy the negative sign, then you add the number 1 plus 3, that is 4. You will get the same answer, class. So it depends on you. Which do you prefer? You can have this solution or you can have this one. So it depends on you, class. Which do you prefer? Alright, so let's try if x is negative 1, this will be our y. Now if x is 0, so let's substitute. So y equals, if x is 0, so this is 0 squared plus 2 times 0 minus 3. So this will be y equals, if x is 0, so simply this x, class, simply substitute with the value 0. So x will be 0. So 0 squared, 0 times 0, this is 0, plus 2 times 0, any number multiplied by 0, the answer is 0. So 2 times 0 is 0, minus 3. So this will be y equals 0 plus 0 is 0, minus 3, that is negative 3. Simply copy negative 3, class. Alright, or you can simply cancel this one out, class, because 0 times 0 is 0, 2 times 0 is 0, and the remaining will be negative 3. So you can have that solution, class. It depends on you. Alright, last one. Easy, right? So that's how you graph, class, using tables of values. If the value of x are not given, you get the axis of symmetry, the center part. Now, if the x values are given, just simply substitute the x values from that function, class, for you to graph the following quadratic function. So that's it, class. That's it. That's how you find, or that's how you graph the quadratic function. So if the x values are given from your teacher, just simply substitute the x values from this function to get the y values. So in our case, we find the x values and then we find the y values. So y equals, our x is positive 1. So change this x to positive 1. 1 squared plus 2, then x is positive 1. 2 times 1 minus 3. So this will be y equals 1 squared. It means 1 times 1. Once again, class, 1 squared, it doesn't mean 1 times 2. It means 1 times 1. And 1 times 1, that is 1. Then 2 times 1, that is 2. Then copy minus 3. Alright, so this will be y equals 1 plus 2, that is 3. Minus 3, that is 0. So I hope you're not confused, class. 1 plus 2, that is 3. Minus 3, our y is 0. Alright, so our y is 0 if our x is positive 1. So this will be 0. Alright, so our table now is complete. So we can now graph this functions, class, this given value of x and y. So let's graph. Alright, so that's how you find the y values. So let's graph, class. I know that you already know how to plot points. Now if you want to know more about how to plot points, I will just put the link, class, on the description down below with regards to plotting of points. So let's plot this following points. So let's graph. I hope you remember, class, on how to plot points. You have that during your grade 8, but if not, I will just put the link, class, in the description down below with regards to plotting points if you want to learn more about plotting points, class. So this will be, once again, this is our x-axis. For the horizontal line, this will be our x-axis, and the vertical line, this one, this will be our y-axis. So for the x-axis, that would be positive numbers on the right. So this is positive 1, positive 2, positive 3, and positive 4. Let's stop on positive 4. And for the x-axis on the left, this will be negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, then negative 4. For the y values or y-axis, on downwards, this will be negative numbers. So negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, then negative 4. And the y values, class, upwards, those are positive numbers. So positive 1, positive 2, positive 3, then positive 4. Alright, so let's plot the points, class. So let's start with negative 3, 0. So negative 3 for x. Okay, once again, these are x values and y values. So negative 3 for x and y is 0. Once again, class, this is our origin, the center part, this one. This center part, class, the value is 0, then 0. So the center part, the value is 0 and 0. The origin, class. I hope you remember this one, class, the origin, the center part. X will be 0 and y will be 0. So x is negative 3 and our y is 0. So we will not move for y. Since our y is 0, it means that our y is in the origin. So x is negative 3, then y is 0. So this will be our point. Negative 3 and y is 0. So we will not move y, class, up and down. Since our y is 0, it means that our y is on the center part. Because it means 0, 0. So x is 0, y is 0. Therefore, our y will not move up or downwards. But our x is negative 3. So this will be our point for negative 3 and 0. So you can label this one, class, negative 3, then 0. Alright, so that's our first point. Now let's have this one, negative 2 for x, negative 3 for y. So negative 2 for x. Once again, negative 2 for x, then negative 3 for y. So this will be our, so negative 2 for x, then negative 3 for y. So you connect the points, class. You connect the broken lines. Negative 2 for x, then negative 3 for y. So this will be our point. Then you label, class, negative 2, then negative 3. Alright, so negative 2 for x and negative 3 for y. So negative 2, then negative 3. Just connect the broken lines and this will be your point. Negative 2, then negative 3. Next will be negative 1, then negative 4. So negative 1 for x. Once again, class, x values on the top, then y values on the bottom. So negative 1 for x, then negative 4 for y. So this one. Alright, so negative 1, then negative 4. So this is negative 1, then negative 4. Alright, next will be 0, negative 3. So our x is 0. So you start at the center. Because x is 0, then your y is negative 3. So y is negative 3. So this is, that's it. This will be the point. So x is 0. So for x, you will not move right or left. Since x is 0, so you start at the center, at the origin. Then your y is negative 3. So this will be our point. Y is negative 3. So this will be 0, then negative 3. And then last one, x is 1, and your y is 0. So therefore, you will not move up and down. Because your y is 0, it means that your y is an origin. So your x is positive 1. So this will be your point, class. Alright, 1 and 0. So that would be your point. Negative 3, 0. Negative 2, 3. Negative 2 and negative 3. Negative 1 and negative 4. 0, then negative 3. And 1, then 0. So that would be your point, and then you connect, class. Let's connect. If a is greater than 0, your parabola opens upward. So what would be the value of a, class, in our function? This one. So our a is beside x squared, so our a is positive 1, as we all know. Beside x squared, that would be our a, and our a is positive 1. Since 1 is greater than 0, so our parabola opens upward. Always remember this one, class. If your a is greater than 0, your parabola opens upward. So our graph will opens upward. So this will be our graph. So connect the points and you will have your graph, class. Alright, so that's it. All set for our graphing of quadratic function using tables of values. That's how you graph, class. All set for this given example, class. So I hope you learned something new today, class. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. You share to your friends and to your classmates so that we can help more students. Once again, class, this is Teacher MJ. Have a great day, class. Goodbye for now. Bye-bye.